service at the New Haven Police Department and for her commitment to our residents. Chief Dominguez has been an exemplary leader and a partner in city government and worked tirelessly to keep our residents safe. I've gotten to know the chief over this past year. I've gotten to know her quite well. I have been on Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, and on the phone with her many times each day for about a year. I have been deeply impressed at her integrity, her honesty, her commitment to doing the right thing, her work ethic, and her tenacity. And she has shown in particular over these recent months with political drama in the background, some people trying to undermine her, a poise and perseverance that I think all of us should strive to emulate. I'm grateful that she has seen us through a challenging time. Second, with Chief Dominguez's departure, I'm naming Regina Rush Kittle, our Chief Administrative Officer, as acting police chief to temporarily lead the police department until a permanent chief is identified. The search process, as you know, is ongoing. We're now entering the interview phase. Applications were closed as of midnight last night. In Regina Rush Kittle, who, by the way, it's her daughter's graduation today, which is why she's not here. I think we can give her that time. We're fortunate enough to have another seasoned and trailblazing leader with public safety experience to step into the New Haven Police Department. I am quite confident that as acting chief, Regina Rush Kittle will provide a steady hand and strong leadership for the New Haven Police Department, and I'm very grateful that she's willing to step up. Many of you are familiar with CAO Rush Kittle, but those who are not, I can give you a little bit of background because her experience and in particular her professional choices are quite extraordinary. As Chief Administrative Officer, Regina Rush Kittle currently supervises multiple city departments, including police, fire, emergency management, public safety, communications, the 911 call center, human resources, parks and public works, engineering, and the New Haven Free Public Library. She has a long and distinguished career in public safety and law enforcement and deep experience working with local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. Immediately prior to her position as CAO, she served as Deputy Commissioner for the Connecticut Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, where she led both the Division of Emergency Management and Homeland Security, as well as the Connecticut Intelligence Center. Prior to that, she served with the Connecticut State Police for 28 years, rising up from the rank of trooper to major, and then she served as commanding officer for several bureaus and state police troops. She also served as second in command at the Millbury Police Department in Massachusetts. Alongside her work in law enforcement, Regina Rush Kittle has had 30 years of military experience serving both in the U.S. Marine Corps and U.S. Army Reserves, rising to the rank of Command Sergeant Major, the highest regular enlisted rank in the Army, with 2 deployments overseas in Kuwait, Afghanistan, and she was awarded the Bronze Star Medal. Once a permanent chief is identified and approved by the Board of Alders, Regina will resume her role as Chief Administrative Officer. And in the interim, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Becky Bombero will be serving the duties of Chief Administrative Officer. Finally, I wanted to thank the members of the New Haven Police Department. Despite the politics in New Haven, you all get up each morning, put on your badge and your uniform, and go to work and keep our community safe. And you do so under extreme challenges. You put your lives at risk. And I'm very thankful that you are professional and your commitment to this city is such that you don't let the noise distract you from the importance of the job and keeping our community safe. Any questions from folks?
When will the first day be for Regina to be acting chief? That Saturday or Monday?
Saturday.
Can you talk a bit about the legal grounds or authority you think you have to appoint Regina as acting chief? Is she an actively certified police officer in Connecticut, or why do you think that she can serve in this role?
So she's not certified by Post, but we've been in conversations with Post and are comfortable that she's able to serve in this role.
Do you still plan on appealing Judge Camp's decision from the Boise Cambridge versus Renee Dominguez lawsuit? Are you still planning on appealing that decision?
No, given that there's no defendant at this point, the case is moot, and we see no reason to move forward.
And the last 3 police chief transition periods, the assistant chief in charge of patrol has stepped up into acting chief with Anthony Campbell, Antonio Reyes, and then Renee Dominguez. The only assistant chief right now is Carl Jacobson, so why not have him be the acting chief now?
I think very highly of Assistant Chief Jacobson. I think we need to be direct that it is possible Assistant Chief Jacobson may apply for this job. The application periods closed last night. The recruiter is reviewing those applications. I don't want to influence the process at all of who is going to be next permanent chief of police, and felt very strongly that an applicant should not, or a potential applicant should not be in that job while we finalize this process.
And how many applicants were there? How many people?
So I don't know, because applications closed as of midnight last night. As of yesterday morning, as I recall, there were 9. But I have not gotten an updated number yet today.
In terms of the lawsuit, what was the city's thinking at this point? Had it changed? Were you guys still confident you'd prevail?
We would have appealed. I think that I made that very clear many times, that we felt that our foundation of under the charter of needing to have someone in that position was solid. So we would have moved forward and appealed.
What's your reaction that it all had to come to this after everything that's happened since she took office?
I think it's sad. We have had to spend a lot of money, incredible amounts of time and energy. Frankly, I think this process has somewhat tarnished our name. When we had the right person right in front of our eyes, and I still think that Chief Dominguez was the right person. Nobody's perfect, and while there may be some people who may not have viewed Chief Dominguez as their favorite, she was highly, highly qualified for this job, had a track record that was, I think, quite strong. And because of a small number of individuals that want to push politics rather than focus on the very, very important job that we have to keep our community safe, we've had to waste a lot of time.
Is there a timeline on the search for the chief? I know the application period is closed, so kind of what's next?
So the process is that the recruiter will present to me the finalists. I will be reviewing their resumes, interviewing them, and we'll make a choice, submit that name to the Board of Alders for confirmation. The Board of Alders has 30 days to approve that confirmation. The Board of Alders doesn't meet every 2 weeks over the summer, or twice a month. They only meet once a month. I'm anxious to get the name in as soon as possible. And we also have to have, as a part of the process, a background check, a polygraph, and a mental health exam if the individual is not a part of the New Haven Police Department, or I'm sorry, is not a New Haven or a Connecticut police officer. So, depending on who is the choice, those additional steps will be taken as well.
And can you tell us about Dominguez's pension, how long she'll be paid for?
So she retires with a pension like any other member of the police department, and so she'll receive that pension like every other member of the police department will.
Can you talk a bit about how CAO Rushkill has done from your point of view as CAO, and what's been your evaluation of her work there so far? What do you think makes her a good fit for acting police chief based on not just her resume, but
Sure. So first of all, I think her resume is a very, very important component of all this. If she did not have the very lengthy law enforcement background, she would not be appropriate for the job. I think that she's been shown very clearly through her background, and also people that I spoke with during her interview process that worked very closely with her in her roles at the state, that she is qualified to step up for this temporary position. I've been really impressed with Regina, and I've been impressed both from her work addressing the underlying job responsibilities, but also the fact that she shows up on a weekend for a cleanup that is not technically part of her job responsibility, that she shows up to the hockey game of police versus fire. It's not technically part of her job responsibility. And it's an indication to me that she not only feels that her role in connection with the community is important, but also she really likes it. And I think that people that like the work, like the engagement with the community, like the people that work for her and with her, is an indication that someone's really going to thrive in any role that they're going to be in. I'd add that she has been steeped in the meetings that have gone on in the police department, whether it's at the basic level or the basic kind of functions of the police department around CompStat, for example. But she's also been very involved in some of the work that the police department is doing with other departments. For example, the work that we're doing on Elm City Compass, the crisis response team. So it's much easier for her to hit the ground running here.
Do you have concerns about how city police officers not react to this? Just if they're out of the work or if someone they may know came in to me or not at all?
I think morale is always on my mind, but I have also seen time and time again that our police officers are committed to the city and come to this job understanding that the work that they do every day is very important and that they are committed to doing that. So I don't doubt that they're going to continue to do that during these several months when we work to finalize the permanent chief. That is my goal. These things are not entirely predictable, but that's my goal. Any other questions?
You make only one choice of the candidates, or do you have an alternate? And if they don't vote them, does the process start all over again?
The alders have the authority to reject the person that I confirm. That is their authority. I certainly hope that doesn't happen again for the best interests of the city.
Did you plan on picking like a top three among those who have applied so far? What's going for you? Among those who submitted applications to be the next police chief?
I haven't seen the applications. I do not yet know who's applied. I think that it highly depends on the qualifications of the people that apply, who is going to rise to the top.